Yeah, we welcome our viewers here in the United States and around the world. Today we have got the honor to host the presidential aspiring candidate for the elections in 2026. 2026 is going to be a lot of activities, and we have one of the candidates who is planning to stand for 2026 presidential elections. And we are going to give her time to introduce herself, and we have got a few questions to ask her. And if you are there watching us and you'd like to ask her questions, please put it in the comment section, and they will be able to arrange a time to ask those questions so that Madam President can answer those questions. So let me allow her to introduce herself. Madam President, you are welcome to this program.
Thank you so much.
Yes, so please introduce yourself to the Zambian people. Let them know who you are.
Hi, my name is Ethel Chisono Edward. I'm sure most of you might have heard of my name through the last interview that we had. It was unfortunate that we didn't finish our interview, so we just kind of like a continuation from the previous interview that we had.
Last time we spoke about it, we spoke about a lot of things, because you see, in Zambia we have got so many questions, we have got so many issues that are going on. And we just want to hear your views, like if you become the president, what is your view on police brutality? Are you going to continue with what the current president is doing, or you are going to introduce something new in terms of how, in the issue of this police brutality, what is your administration going to do on police brutality? So if you can explain to the Zambian people.
Good afternoon, everyone. My view on police brutality, I feel like there's a lot of work that needs to be done when it comes to our police force. There's been so many instances whereby the police, when they're handling an issue or a case, they are kind of like tied in between to either work for the people or to please who are being the people that appoint them. So in my administration, I'm thinking that the best decision to do is to make the police independent. Because once the police force is independent, they'll be able to work freely and be able to, you know, if anyone has committed a crime, they'll be able to work on every case and treat their citizens fairly, than situations where we find some people that are connected to, for example, the president, they get away with a lot of things, because, of course, we all know, I mean, it's a fact, the IG is appointed by the president. So if you are connected to the president, it's definitely, your case might not even be heard in the courts. But most people that are prosecuted are those people that, you know, they cannot even afford a lawyer. Those people, they are prosecuted because they're not connected to the high office. So once we make the police independent, whereby the president has no control over the police, I feel like that way the police will be able to work freely without, you know, deciding who they should please. Either they should please the people that appoint them or be able to work for their citizens.
Okay, so from what you are saying, it seems to me like you are saying that when you become the president of the Republic of Zambia, you are going to make the police independent. But I know it's very hard, because power is sweet. You know, everybody wants to control. You see, even these people who are there now, they were saying they are going to change the Public Order Act and all those things. But when they are in power, they are enjoying it because it's helping them. So how are you going to really end this police brutality? Because somehow it's when you become the president, it's going to be in your favor. So how are you going to end it? Because it's going to be something that is working for you and against your enemies. So how are you going to strike the balance in that area?
Yeah, for me, I'm talking from experience because I went through such a situation in 2018 where a police officer just approached me and slapped me at the airport. And from that incident, I learned a lot. And the way I was handled, the way they carried me, the way they took me to the cell, being in the cell, being pepper sprayed, and that experience alone is just by the grace of God that I survived. Otherwise, I could have died if it was someone who is asthmatic, because they put me in a cell where you cannot even breathe because there was no windows. And it was like an eye-opener to me to see how much people go through, especially if you're not connected in any way. And there's been some instances where people have died in police cells. So through the experience that I went through, it kind of taught me that people die in the hands of the police because the way they are treated and because of circumstances that happen. For example, if I was asthmatic, the way they pepper sprayed me and put in the cell where there was no windows, I could have died and no one would have known. They could have just probably come up with a story or maybe saying, you know, we don't know how she died because years ago, there was not a police officer, I think a military officer that died at Woodlands Police Station. We don't know what circumstances that led to the death. And so many instances, you find that people die and then we don't get answers. And when it becomes too political, when there's a political tag attached to the police force, I feel like it's very hard to get answers. So the only way to change the system is to make sure that the police is independent and to make sure that there's no any political party that is controlling the police. Because once you do that, the police will be free to do their investigations independently. They will not be scared of, you know, trying to wake, because right now it's like police are always divided. There are police officers that want to work to please the president, and the police officers that want to work for the people. But because of the way the system is set up, it's very hard for them to do the right thing.
Okay. So in other words, what you are saying is that you intend to reform the police service. You are,
exactly.
Yeah, you are trying to reform the police service to the point that the police become independent. Independent yes. of the executive body, which is the president and the cabinet, independent from any other judiciary and the legislature. So if you make the police independent, so how do you handle a situation where you are on the wrong side of the law and your opponents are on the right side of the law, and then you are trying to make the police do their job? How are you going to balance those things? Because I've seen that it's very hard for people to balance that, especially this current government which is there.
This is why we have laws and regulations, and no one is above the law. We all need to know, not even the president himself is above the law. So this is why once we have a system where the police are able to work independently, everyone will be treated fairly. And in those situations, even the president will be able to do the right thing because you know you cannot take advantage of the system. So you're going to do the right thing. But when the president controls the police, this is why they can get away with a lot of things. Even the people that are connected to the president, they can do whatever they want because they know they can get away with anything. And this is why it's very important to make sure that the IG is appointed by the people. And the way Zambia is, we have provinces. We have 10 provinces. So we should have at least one IG in each province, and all those IGs should be appointed by the people. Once we have that in place, I think everyone will be treated fairly. It doesn't matter who commits a crime. If you commit a crime, you're connected to the president, you will be, treated, and you'll be held accountable for your crimes.
So let me just go through and see if I understood clearly what you said. So you are saying that under your administration, as Chisono administration, you will make the police independent, and you are going to make sure that the police are able to operate freely without interference from the executive. And you intend to do that through making sure that the IG is appointed by the people. In other words, what you are saying is that the IG position should be part of the ballot.
Exactly.
Is that what you are saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The IG should be appointed by the people, and they should have a term. That way, if the IG can never be corrupt, the president cannot influence the IG when it comes to any crime that's involved with anyone in a political high office. And not only one IG, yes, by the way. We need to have each province with one IG. So we're going to have 10 IGs. So that way, there's no way a president can convince all 10 IGs, to listen to him. And they are appointed by the people. So those people, those IGs will work freely and independently, and they won't be scared of the president saying, I'll be fired tomorrow if I don't listen to the president. Right now, they work through tough conditions because if you don't listen to what the president tells you, the next day you can be fired, you can lose your job.
So you are saying that, so according to what you are saying, it seems to me like you are saying that the IG should be part of the elections, general elections, and the IG should have a term of office. And during that term of office, the IG is not supposed to be afraid of the president. He should just follow the law because he has been mandated by the people. Is that what you are saying? Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to put across.
So I think I would support that kind of arrangement because I see that kind of arrangement working here in America. In America, the IG is appointed by the people.
I'll also give you an example because recently I came across a video where, there are some people that were evicted in their houses, and they're complaining, saying they bought those properties long time ago, and now they're being evicted, and they're claiming that someone who is a foreigner owns that property. But if you could see how these people were evicted, it's the police that came to the residence. They were using all these tankers like they're going to war. And to me, I feel like sometimes the police is biased. Those people that are, connected or they have money, the police will rush to, to confiscate anyone or to arrest anyone that is, doesn't have any connection to the high office. There's been some instances where something that can be handled as a civil matter, but just because someone who is involved is connected to the president, and you see that police are rushed to the scene, and they're using those state machinery that are not even needed at the time.
So, according to what you are saying, it seems to me like you really want the police to be independent, and you would like the police to work independently, they shouldn't be influenced by the executive body.
Exactly.
But that is going to cost for the... So any person who is a police officer and would like to run for elections as a police IG, so under your administration, a person can say, okay, I have got experience in police service, I have served the police for 20 years.
No.
So I would like to run for IG position. Are you...
No, for like those ones, this is why where I'm saying to have the police being independent, actually we need to have, like, the way we have the whole entire umbrella for Zambia police, we need in each province, we should have our own police, still working under, Zambia police. Whereby if you're in Lusaka, you have your own police officers, Lusaka Police Department. So that way it's so easy to even tackle with crimes. And in each province, you have your own IG. So among those police officers that you have in there, you could have people that, qualify, have all the requirements to stand as an IG, and the people can appoint, can vote. And if they run for second term and the person, they love what they've been doing, and they can still vote for them. And categorizing each province and having, like the way we have it here in New York, we have your own police and they're being paid by that state. And in Zambia, you could also have it where you have your own province, like Lusaka province, you have your own police, you call them LPD, Lusaka Police Department. I think it would be so easy to deal with crimes than having the whole entire police where you don't even know when a police commits a crime or a police does something out of work ethics. You don't even know which police department this person works for. I think Zambia, we've reached at a point where Zambia has a large population and we need a lot of police officers, and I think it would be best to have each province, you have your own police officers still working under the same umbrella of the Zambia police, but you should just categorize them in each province. You have your own police, and with a proper sign saying if you work in Lusaka, you have, it says LPD, Lusaka Police Department. If you have Kitwe, just like that. I think that way we'll be able to handle things easily when it comes to crime.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I heard what you are saying. So what you are saying is that under your administration, you would like the police to be independent, like the police that are working in Lusaka province.
Yeah.
You would like them to have their own independent body that would be called like a LPD, Lusaka Police Department. Yeah. And those police officers that are working in another province, like a southern province, they would be called like SPD, like a southern province Lusaka department, police department. So they are going to have their own IG, and they are going to handle crimes that are committed in Lusaka province or in southern province. And the head of that department, according to you, you think that that head should be appointed by the people of that particular province? The
IG for that particular province has to be appointed by the people.
Okay.
Because that way, any crime that's being committed, the government has no control to control the police force in any province. So that way, every crime that's being committed, it will be dealt in a fairly way, regardless who commits it. I'll take an example of what happened during elections. I think in Northwestern, if I'm not mistaken, there was, someone that was killed. So when politics are involved, so if there are some big people who are in high office connected to such a crime, there is no way that kind of situation can be, dealt fairly because politics are involved. So you cannot get answers. But imagine if we set up a system where we have each province with their own IG. Those people, they'll make sure they work for the people and make sure that whoever is responsible for that crime is brought to book. And the president cannot play any role when it comes to prosecuting whoever is involved, regardless who they are connected to.
Yeah, I think that's a good. If that could be implemented under your administration, I think it can be a good thing, because I have seen that kind of arrangement being done here in the United States. So we have got the NYPD, which is a New York Police Department. We have got LAPD, which is Los Angeles Police Department. So each state has got all those arrangements, and they have got their own leader who is independent from the federal government, which is in Washington, D.C. And I think so far, if we're going to judge by looking at the previous, what has been done already, I think that could be a good system. But I just don't know how you can introduce something so strange and so new to the Zambian people.
It's not something we cannot. We have to move with time. Right
Yes.
now, we cannot keep on doing the same thing and expecting a different result. When we look at our history, it shows that the system that we have right now, it has failed. So it's time to do something different. It's time to implement something that's going to work. Because right now, the system that we have, it favors the rich. It favors the people that are in politics, especially the politicians and those people that are connected to the president. So if people want to always cry for, to say, oh, when will things change? And if you don't want to get answers, then we have to remain the same system. But if you want to get answers and you want things to change, you have to change the system. It all goes back to the system. Once you change the system, everything is going to fall in place. Once you make sure that the police are independent, the IG is appointed by the people, the police will work for the people. And when it comes to all the issues that we worry about, cadres, all those things, those people will never have power. Why? Because they cannot do anything they want to do, because the police, it will no longer be in the hands of the president. So a cadre cannot come and, misbehave in certain way, thinking that the president will help them just because they belong to a certain political party. It won't work. So that will be the only way to bring order in the country. Once you put the police to be independent, because there will be no political tag attached to the police force.
Yeah, I think that that part of your manifesto, I think I would be happy to, I will agree with it, because you see, what I have seen in Zambia is that the police are under pressure to obey what the president says. Even if what the president says is against the law, the police are forced to just obey because they are following the rules. Yeah. You see? So I think that personally I would agree with that kind of manifesto. But I'm just surprised. I'm just curious on how, practically speaking, how that can be implemented in Zambia. Because in Zambia,
I mean, to me, to be honest, it can be implemented as long as people see what have been happening. I'll give you an example. Like, so many times you see, I'll give an example. Like, if someone comes from a poor neighborhood, you steal mangoes. There are so many cases people go to jail, they get prosecuted. But you find that politicians, there's evidence, they've stolen money that belongs to the people, and they walk away free. Why? It's because of the system. Because the system favors those people that are connected to the president and favors those people with money. But once you have the police force that's independent and they don't have to fear that if they prosecute someone in high office, tomorrow they'll be fired. They'll work freely and independent, and anyone will be treated the same. And secondly, if you've seen how sometimes you have issues during elections, if you have a police force that's independent, non-partisan, it's so easy to have trust in the police, where you can even take the ballots to the police. Like in the United States, I've done, work at the polling station, where when you finish doing the elections, you take those ballots to the police. Why? Because we trust the police, because they're non-partisan. But in our country, it's very difficult for us to trust the police, that if we're to take the ballot, chances are we'll think that, they'll be tempered, because why? The police is controlled by the president, and that's a fact.
Yeah, I think if we can, I think this, personally, I think I agree with this, because I have seen the good results from that kind of arrangement here in the United States. My problem is just how the general population of the Zambian people can be convinced. Because if they can be convinced about this system, which has already produced results in the United States, I think Zambia could be far much better. The people in opposition can be safe and sound. They cannot just be harassed just like that, because the police themselves will be following the law, and they will not agree to implement wrong policies in case they come from the president or the executive or any other power that may be. Yeah. I think that that will be a good policy, that the police are independent. And if you are here and you are listening to our program, we would like you to give your comments. If you think that what is being discussed here is making sense to you, please let us know in the comment section. And if you think that we need to, the president, if you have got any advice for the aspiring candidate, please, you can give your comments in the comment section, and make sure you share this video. So let's continue with our, we are running out of time, but let's allow Madam President to explain to us about the mob justice that is going on in Zambia. Because we saw that in Mumbwa, a businessman was burned to death, which is very, very, very unfortunate and unacceptable. We would like to hear from the aspiring candidate how she may handle that kind of a problem differently from what the current president is handling this problem, or has handled this problem. So let's hear her views on mob justice. What is your view, Madam President, Madam Aspiring President, about this Mumbwa issue? We hear somebody was burnt to death, which is gross human rights abuse.
Yeah, actually, for me personally, I feel like it's really wrong for us to take law into our own hands. Reason being, because when people take law into their own hands, you end up killing people that are innocent in most cases. And looking at this issue in Mumbwa, there have been so many stories that came out of it. People said that, they found a casket in the house, which wasn't, and people were just, having assumptions, saying this person has been killing people, this is why the person is rich. So to me, I feel like doing a mob justice is not always the answer, But at the same time, it's all comes back to the police force. People do mob justice because when they keep on reporting to the police and the police are not doing their job, and people lose hope in the police and they end up taking law into their own hands. And this brings us back again to the system. Why? It's because sometimes people in the community, they feel like those people that have money, even if they're accused of something, the police does not do anything. So this is why we need to have a police that's independent. That way, when people report any crimes, everyone will be treated the same, regardless whether you have money or not. And to me, like banning someone, that wasn't an answer to this situation. It was going to be the best to make sure that they either do a peaceful protest to make sure that this person either can be brought to, to court and let the law take its course, and to make sure that this person is, proven guilty, not, deciding killing someone before you could get to the bottom truth.
Okay. I think on that point, I think I agree with you. And I would say that the Zambia police did not handle this issue nicely. There is no way a person can be burnt to death. That is just unacceptable, because that person, before the court, that person is still presumed innocent until proven guilty. I think on that one I would agree with you. And our time is exhausted, and I would like to again appeal to imoma press singers tikambeko chinyanja kali muzi omona monga sindise ba Zambians. So tikambeko chinyanja mutiziva ndise ba Zambians, you see. So imoma press singers imwai, don't just support anything just because ni party yanu ya meneli mu government. Don't just support anything. Just imagine uja muntu anashokewa, sembenze brother wako, sembenze tate wako, sembenze brother wako, sembenze cousin wako, sembenze brother husband wako. You see, how would you feel? So we shouldn't accept a situation where people are just burnt to death just like that. No, we should value life. So, Imama Pressing, as I know you are going to disagree with us. Let's hear what you think. And Imama Zambians who are reasonable and you would like to support our program, please share this video and share our views. Let's hear what the majority of Zambians think about this. Thank you so much. And I'm going to ask the aspiring presidential candidate to just give her closing remarks so that we can round up our program today. Madam President.
And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And I just wanted to wind up on everything saying, like I said, it's very important, regardless who's going to come in office, to have our system changed, to make sure that our police is independent, so that there's not any political tag attached to the police force. That way the police will be able to work freely and independent, and they will be able to prosecute anyone regardless of their status. No one will be treated unfairly once we change the system.
Thank you so much for listening, our viewers, and make sure you tuned in. We'll be back another time. And for today, God bless you. God bless Zambia. Thank you for listening.